Today, I'm going to be sharing how I built a six-figure soul-led business before 2026 without burnout. Now, if you're a visionary woman, a creative or spiritual entrepreneur who knows she's meant to build something meaningful, impactful, but you are exhausted by the strategies that feel misaligned, overwhelming, or requiring you to burn yourself out just to succeed, I want you to know that it's possible to build a six-figure business that's soul-led, that feels spacious, and that actually supports your nervous system. Now, I've done this through creativity, through following my intuition, through developing a repeatable, customized strategy that really worked for me without hustling, without the constant launches. Evergreen is something that's really important to me now, and without losing myself in the process. Now, in this video, I'm going to share the real turning points that made it all possible, including what I stopped doing, what I simplified, and the one decision that changed my life. So, before I share my own story, I want to name something very important. Over the years, I've watched many different kinds of visionary women. I've coached many different kinds of visionary women build deeply successful soul-led businesses, not by trying to force themselves into a box, but by starting with what they already do naturally. I've witnessed a beautiful tea ceremonialist build a thriving mentorship and healing practice. I've worked with a meditative weaver whose workshops became the doorway into product sales, into coaching, into commissions, and into deeper leadership work for corporations. I've supported a therapeutic artist whose creative workshops just naturally led to longer-term healing containers. And I've mentored a manifestation coach who uses workshops as the entry point into high-level mentorship. Now, on the surface, their work may have looked completely different, but my work is for a certain kind of woman. Underneath, the structure that we used to build things out was similar but highly customized. So each of them built their businesses around one repeatable workshop that became the doorway into deeper work. This is the same pattern that I personally followed even before I fully understood what I was doing. So about 7 or 8 years ago, I felt a very strong pull to leave my part-time teaching position and build the life of ultimate freedom. At the time, I'd been teaching for 17 years. I was the program director of a thriving summer art program in Brentwood, California, and I was the mom of a young toddler. Now, from the outside, things looked stable, even wildly successful, but internally, I knew that I had hit a glass ceiling. I had literally no time. I was starting to feel kind of depleted and burned out. Most painfully, I didn't have time to create any of my own art or nurture any of my own creative passions, which was the reason that I started teaching in the first place, to have a little bit of time freedom, to have those, early afternoons off. But that was not the case. So before I'd even explored leaving teaching, I had explored interior design, and I did that for about 8 years. I ran a design firm here on the west side of Los Angeles while still teaching part-time and running a little bit of the summer program that I mentioned. So I've always been a natural teacher, a natural leader, but more than that, I love to create spaces where beauty, wellness, creativity, and transformation can naturally emerge. Eventually, I made the daring decision that changed everything. I created my first signature workshop. It was a creativity-based experience for leaders and professionals who wanted to reconnect with their creative energy. Now, I found I had a lot of doctors coming to me, I had a lot of art therapists, I had lawyers, I had a lot of just really successful women and also creatives. I'm here in Los Angeles. I had producers, I had writers, holistic healers that loved coming to my creative wellness workshops. And the first one was a workshop in natural indigo and shipori dyeing. So it was very unique. It was something that really captured people's imaginations. And it's something that I still get asked to teach 8 years later. So this is the power of developing a really memorable workshop. Now, what I didn't realize at the time was that this one workshop would become the foundation of a scalable business. I went on then to create a second workshop that was really in demand during the pandemic. It was called Watercolor for Relaxation. And I wove in meditation and a little bit of shamanic journeys with painting. And that program then became licensed and distributed by a corporation all across the US. It went to 250 sites across the US. And within 3 weeks of recording that workshop, which became an e-course, I made my entire annual teaching salary in 3 weeks. And honestly, I collapsed in the best way. I rested, I started to heal. This is a really good example of how we can collapse time, right? And call in different amounts of income through our entrepreneurship. Finally, I began to really unwind years and years of feeling burned out, of not having the time to pursue my passions, to pursue my interest, having those super early mornings where I had to rush, get my son ready for daycare and then rush into the classroom, right? So during that season, I began to follow a very real inner call into deeper alignment and embodiment. I completed a yoga teacher training through a series of wild synchronicities that I'll probably talk about someday. I became a level 2 Reiki practitioner, and I allowed myself, it actually wasn't just a choice, it was an awakening. I allowed myself to go on this spiritual journey, not to escape my life, but to rebuild my relationship with my energy, my intuition, and my relationship with my body, right? So that period didn't take me away from my work. It actually just completely changed the way that I work. It taught me that building a sustainable business isn't about pushing harder. Like when I was doing my interior design work, I was taking clients like all the time. It's really about designing your life and your business in a way that your nervous system can actually support and it can get on board with. So looking back, those workshops worked because they did 4 very specific things. Number 1, they were repeatable. I could repeat them over and over and over again. I wasn't reinventing the wheel. Second, they attracted in my ideal clients. I had creative entrepreneurs and leaders all over Los Angeles coming to my workshops, even Santa Barbara. I was getting asked to give them and to travel more and to do things like that. Third, they could become, if I desired, digital products, courses that people could access on their own time, which then liberated my time and allowed me to reach even more people. And fourth, they became part of a larger business ecosystem rather than one-off events. From there, and this was kind of all happening at the same time, everything continued to expand. I began collaborating with companies like Google. I did a workshop for Jenny Kane and Vince, which are 2 fashion lines here in Los Angeles. I created workshops for Airbnb experiences, for Twilio, and which is a cloud, in case you're not in the software field, that is a cloud computing company located up in the Bay Area. And then also for Molton Brown, which is the bath products of the Queen. So I learned about them. They are located somewhere in England. So eventually, I created my first online course teaching this very method that I'm talking about, which is called Profit from Workshops. And I included a masterclass that I recorded fairly recently called 0 to 100K, how you take yourself from $0 to 100K impact by creating profitable workshops. It also comes with a 44-page ebook, which is like the Cliff's Notes to help you to follow along. This now informs everything that I teach, from workshops and retreats to identity, business identity, and ecosystem design. So today, after mentoring hundreds of creatives, leaders, and coaches, hosting international retreats, and building what I now see as a movement, right? It's the Muse frequency movement. I understand this clearly. One well-designed, repeatable workshop can become the entry point to your body of work, meaning you don't need more offers. You don't need to be everywhere on social media all the time. That is a recipe for burnout and exhaustion. And you don't need to sacrifice your well being in order to succeed. What you need is a structure that supports your creativity, your intuitive downloads, your divine passion, your soul blueprint, not drains it. And this is what I teach inside of Profit from Workshops. It's how to design soul aligned offerings that are easy to scale, that support your nervous system, and create real, sustainable income. And this is why when identity, imagination, and structure are all converging, growth doesn't have to be linear. It's how we collapse timelines and we call in a year's worth of income in months, not through hustle, but through that coherence, that ecosystem coherence. If you are a visionary with a big mission, someone who knows she's meant to create impact through her work, you're in the right place. If you're feeling called to structure something repeatable, sustainable, scalable, I'll leave details below for Profit from Workshops, where I teach how well-designed workshops can become the foundation of your entire business ecosystem. And if you already have offers that are working and flowing, but you wish that they kind of wove together in a stronger way, whether that is a high-level one-on-one, a coaching container, or a low-ticket program, the next level isn't always about creating more. It's usually about integration. And inside my work, inside Muse, which is my mastermind, we focus on building your full ecosystem, where your creativity, your leadership, your offers, your genius zone, your visibility, and wealth are all working together instead of pulling you in different directions. That is how soul-led businesses grow with clarity and momentum and without burnout. And if neither one feels aligned right now, stay here with me. This channel is about building a visionary business that actually supports the life that you want to live. This is where life becomes a work of art. So if this resonated, feel free to subscribe or leave a comment, and I'd love to hear more about where you are in your soul business journey.